A wall of Arctic air is about to slam into America. Not once, not twice, but multiple waves of bone-chilling cold that could break records across half the country. And the first strike? It's already loading up right now. In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to reveal which major cities could see 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of ice accumulation that'll snap power lines like matchsticks and turn highways into death traps. But here's the number that should terrify you. The Sierra Nevada mountains are about to get buried under feet of snow. Not inches, feet. If you're doing a Christmas vacation up there right now, you might not be getting out anytime soon. You could be trapped. Does that sound like a fun holiday to you? Here's your first reward. At the 5-minute mark, I'm going to show you the exact corridor where New York City could get buried under 8 to 9 inches of heavy, wet snow in just one night. The timing is critical because this is happening right when millions of people are trying to travel home after Christmas. Let me paint you the picture of what's unfolding across America right now. Imagine you're looking at a weather map. The West Coast is getting absolutely pounded. Rain, wind, flooding. The middle of the country? Eerily quiet. Almost too quiet. And in the East, we're wrapping up one winter storm while another monster is already forming. It's like watching dominoes fall in slow motion. Except these dominoes weigh 1,000,000 tons each. The National Weather Service has already issued winter storm watches across Pennsylvania. But here's what most people don't know. Those watches are going to expand rapidly over the next few hours. New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, they're all about to get hit. Winter storm watches are the government's way of saying, danger is coming. Get ready now. Here's a shocking statistic. Lower Michigan is about to experience a moderate icing event. That's a technical term that means bad things are going to happen. We're talking freezing rain heavy enough to coat everything in ice. Power lines, trees, roads, cars. 1/4 inch of ice is enough to bring down tree branches. 1/3 of an inch? That's when power lines start snapping. Stay with me, because at the 3-minute 20-second mark, I'm going to reveal something that meteorologists are calling unprecedented about this cold air pattern. Something that could change everything we thought we knew about this winter. Let's talk about what's happening out west right this second. California is in crisis mode. Lower elevation rain causing flooding, higher elevation snow measured in feet. The Cascades are getting buried. The Sierra Nevada, forget about it. If you're in that area right now, you're living in a snow globe, except instead of pretty flakes, you're getting buried alive. Here's the wind situation. Very strong winds. We're talking sustained winds powerful enough to knock you off your feet. A low-pressure system near Washington State measured at 985 millibars. For context, that's approaching hurricane strength in terms of pressure. When you see numbers like that, you know Mother Nature means business. And here's the terrifying part. This isn't just one storm. It's a funnel of moisture. Wave after wave of atmospheric rivers slamming into the West Coast. One storm barely moves out before the next one moves in. It's relentless. It's exhausting. And it's dangerous. Over 1/2 foot of rain could fall around Los Angeles and the surrounding hills. On already saturated ground. On burn scar areas where wildfires destroyed the vegetation. You know what happens when you dump that much water on ground that can't absorb it? Mudslides, debris flows, houses swept away. Now, I promised you critical information at the 5-minute mark. Here it is. The winter storm hitting the day after Christmas is not your typical snowstorm. This is what meteorologists call a high-impact event, and the Northeast is ground zero. Starting Friday morning, December 26th, the system begins to take over. Pink on the weather maps means freezing rain. Orange means sleet. Blue means snow. And when you see dark blue corridors, that's very heavy, wet snow. New York City is right in the bullseye. According to the European weather model, snow begins flying around Friday evening in New York City, and it's going to stay all snow. No mixing, no rain, just heavy, wet, accumulating snow falling fast. How heavy are we talking? 8 to 9 inches when it's all said and done. But here's the twist that should concern you. This is a very narrow corridor. If you're 20 miles north of the heavy snow band, you might only see flurries. If you're 20 miles south, you might get ice instead of snow. This means your exact location matters more than ever. The question you should be asking yourself right now is, am I in that corridor? Let me give you the exact areas. Northeast Pennsylvania, the southern tier of New York State. Buffalo could start with heavy snow before transitioning. Binghamton, Syracuse, all getting hit hard. New Jersey is going to be cut in half. Northern New Jersey gets buried in snow. Southern New Jersey gets ice. And then there's Pennsylvania. Oh boy, Pennsylvania. Central Pennsylvania, around State College, is forecast to receive 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of ice. That's catastrophic ice accumulation. Trees will come down, power will go out, travel will be impossible. Some areas could be without power for days. Here's something most people aren't thinking about. This is happening right after Christmas. People still have their decorations up, lights strung across trees and roofs. Ice on power lines means those lines are coming down. And when they come down, they're taking your Christmas lights with them. Except it won't be pretty. It'll be dangerous. Isolated to scattered power outages are expected. That's the official forecast language. Let me translate that for you. Lots of people are going to lose power. And with temperatures below freezing, that's a life-threatening situation. Do you have a backup heat source? Flashlights? Batteries? Food that doesn't need cooking? Water stored up? If you answered no to any of those questions, you need to fix that right now. Now let's talk about the Great Lakes region, because they're not escaping this either. Detroit and central lower Michigan are looking at significant freezing rain on Friday. The upper peninsula of Michigan gets heavy snow. Northern Ohio, northern Indiana, they're all in the icing zone. Here's a weather fact that'll blow your mind. When you have a low-pressure system this close to the coast, it pulls in warm air. But there's cold, high-pressure system to the north blocking it. So you get this battle zone where warm air is trying to push in but can't quite make it. That battle zone is where you get the worst ice. And that battle zone is setting up right over millions of people. The American GFS model is even colder than the European model. It wants an all-out sleet fest moving into Washington, D.C., Baltimore, even Philadelphia. Pittsburgh might start as a wintry mix but quickly transition. Sleet is frozen rain, little ice pellets bouncing off your windshield. It accumulates like snow, but it's harder, denser, more dangerous. And when sleet piles up on the roads, it's like driving on ball bearings. Now, at the 10-minute mark, I promised to tell you about the unprecedented cold air pattern. Here it is. Multiple shots of Arctic air are coming. This isn't just one cold snap. It's wave after wave after wave of frigid air diving south from Canada. The first wave arrives right around New Year's Eve, then another wave in early January, then potentially another one mid-January, each one reinforcing the last, each one keeping temperatures well below normal for weeks. As the scripture says in Job chapter 38, verse 29, "From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens?" This is the kind of cold that tests our faith, tests our preparation, tests our communities. Let me show you what the temperature pattern looks like going into the new year. Right now, we're experiencing warmth across much of the country. The Southeast is enjoying beautiful weather, temperatures in the 60s and 70s on Christmas Eve. But that's about to end, abruptly. By Sunday, December 29th, Arctic air begins filtering into the northern plains and Great Lakes. Temperatures crash, not gradually, suddenly. We're talking temperature drops of 30 to 40 degrees within 24 hours. Monday into Tuesday, that's New Year's Eve week, the cold air spreads east. The entire eastern half of the country gets locked into a deep freeze, and then it just stays there. Models are struggling to figure out exactly when the pattern breaks because there's just so much cold air in the higher latitudes ready to be tapped, ready to drop south. The Arctic is loaded with cold air, and it's looking for a way out. We're that way out. Now, here's where it gets really interesting from a meteorology standpoint. There's energy in the northern stream. That's meteorologists speak for storms tracking across Canada. And there's a stubborn low pressure area spinning around Baja California that's not doing anything useful. Meteorologists are watching that Baja low because when it finally ejects and moves east, that's when things could get really exciting for winter storm potential. We're talking about the first week of January, maybe around January 5th to 8th. That's when we could see significant winter storm signals developing. But we're over 300 hours out, so take that with a grain of salt. Weather forecasting that far out is more art than science, but the pattern is there. The ingredients are lining up. The question isn't if we'll see winter storms in early January. The question is how many and how strong. Let me ask you something. Do you remember last January, the winter storms that rolled through? Well, early indications suggest this January could be even more active. Multiple members of the ensemble forecast models are showing storm signals. Not just one or two members, multiple members. That means there's growing confidence that something is going to happen. We just don't know exactly what yet. Here's a statistic that should make you pay attention. The Climate Prediction Center's outlook for the first 2 weeks of January shows below normal temperatures for the eastern 2/3 of the United States. That's not a small area. That's most of the country. Below normal temperatures in January means cold, really cold. And when you have sustained cold like that, every storm system that moves through has the potential to produce significant snow or ice. Now, as we approach the 15-minute mark, let me tell you about today's weather because there's some interesting things happening. The Southeast has beautiful weather today. Enjoy it. I'm not typically a fan of warm weather in winter, but it's locked in. It's happening, so you might as well embrace it. Get outside. Spend time with family. By tonight, some shower activity moves into the central and southern Appalachian Mountains. We might even hear a rumble of thunder. Yes, thunder. On Christmas Eve. In the mountains. That's how unstable the atmosphere is right now. The Northeast is trickier. There's a little band of snow that could overachieve in eastern Massachusetts. Southeast Massachusetts specifically. This could bring super festive vibes with snow falling as Santa Claus arrives. Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, you're in the zone for this. Overnight tonight into Christmas morning, it's going to be snowing across interior areas of New England. Maine is going to wake up to just pure festive vibes. White Christmas guaranteed. And I really think we could get some flurries pretty far south. Maybe even into Pennsylvania and around New York City. The South Central United States has nothing going on. Beautiful day, nothing to report. Same with the North Central U.S., just quiet. But the Western U.S., absolute chaos. The funnel of moisture continues. Higher elevation snow in the Sierra Nevada. Very strong winds for anyone south of the low pressure systems. We're talking about a 985 millibar low near Washington State. That's intense. And here comes another one funneling in more moisture as we get into tomorrow morning. It's just a nasty period of weather through the entire Christmas holiday. Because of this, there are tons of alerts up. Wind alerts, winter storm warnings in the Sierra Nevada, flood watches, high wind warnings, high wind watches, just dangerous conditions across the board. The forecast wind gusts from the National Weather Service show strong winds across the entire region for the next 24 hours. If you're in that area, you need to stay tuned to your local sources. This is serious. Let's talk rainfall totals. The Pacific Northwest won't see as much, but when you move down to the Southwest, over half a foot of rain could fall around Los Angeles and the higher hills. That's 6+ inches of rain in a short period of time, on ground that's already saturated, on burn scar areas. This is a recipe for disaster. And the snow? Between now and 4 a.m. Pacific Time Friday, the Sierra Nevada will see feet of snow. Not a foot, feet, plural. If you're doing a Christmas vacation up there, you're going to get buried. I don't know how you're going to get out anytime soon. You might want to make a Hallmark movie out of it because you're going to be there a while. Now, at the 20-minute mark, I want to give you critical safety information. This is the most important part of this entire video. If you're in the path of the winter storm Friday into Saturday, here's what you need to do right now. First, understand the ice threat. Ice is more dangerous than snow. Snow you can drive through if you're careful. Ice? You can't drive on ice. Nobody can. It doesn't matter how good a driver you think you are or what kind of vehicle you have. Ice wins every time. If you're in central Pennsylvania, Detroit, Cleveland, anywhere in that icing zone, assume you're going to lose power. Prepare for it now. Second, stock up on supplies. You need at least 72 hours worth of food, water, and medications. 1 gallon of water per person per day. Non-perishable food that doesn't require cooking.
Third, charge everything. Your phone, your laptop, your tablets. Get portable battery packs if you don't have them. When the power goes out, your cell phone is your only connection to the outside world. Fourth, know your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors or anyone with special medical needs. Check on them before the storm. Make sure they're prepared. In emergencies, communities that look out for each other survive. Fifth, have a backup heat source. If you have a fireplace or wood stove, stock up on wood now. If you have a portable generator, test it. Make sure you have fuel. And please, please, please use generators outside with proper ventilation. Carbon monoxide kills silently. Sixth, clear your gutters now before the precipitation arrives. Clogged gutters can cause ice dams that damage your roof. Seventh, bring pets inside. They feel the cold just like we do. And in severe winter weather, outdoor pets can die from exposure. Eighth, if you're traveling Friday or Saturday, reconsider. Is the trip really necessary? Is it worth risking your life? Every winter storm, we see the same thing. People think they can make it. They think their four-wheel drive or their winter driving experience will get them through. And then they end up stranded on a highway in a blizzard with zero visibility and no help coming. Don't be that person. As it says in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. There's no shame in staying home. There's no shame in being safe. Your family would rather have you alive and at home than dead on a highway. Now let's talk about what comes after this winter storm, because this is just the beginning. After the storm moves offshore Saturday, lake effect snow sets up across the Great Lakes.
When that Arctic air sweeps across the relatively warm waters of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, it's going to pick up moisture and dump it as snow on the downwind shores. Buffalo, Syracuse, Watertown, you know the drill. But this event could be particularly intense because of how cold that Arctic air is going to be. Some areas could see localized snow totals of several feet over just a few days from lake effect alone. That's on top of whatever you get from the main storm. And then comes the really cold air.
Sunday into Monday, December 29th into 30th, temperatures plunge. Highs struggling to get above zero in some areas. Wind chills dangerous enough to cause frostbite in minutes. This is the kind of cold that can kill. Hypothermia doesn't just happen to people who fall through ice or get lost in the woods. It can happen to anyone exposed to extreme cold for too long. Homeless populations are especially vulnerable. If you see someone out in the cold, offer help. Call emergency services. Don't assume someone else will do it. Be the one who acts. As we get closer to New Year's Eve, the cold air just sits there, day after day of below normal temperatures. The kind of cold that tests infrastructure, that causes pipes to freeze and burst, that makes cars refuse to start. And then in early January, those storm signals I mentioned earlier start to materialize. The ensemble forecast models are showing multiple opportunities for winter storms between January 5th and January 15th. Not just one storm, multiple potential storms. The exact tracks and intensities are still uncertain. We're too far out for specifics, but the pattern is favorable for active winter weather across the eastern half of the country. If you live anywhere from the Midwest to the Northeast, you need to be ready for a very active first half of January. Here's what I'm watching specifically. That energy ejecting from the Pacific. When it finally breaks loose and moves into the cold air mass over the eastern U.S., that's when we'll see storm development. The models are struggling to time it exactly because there's just so much cold air in the higher latitudes. More cold air than we typically see. And cold air is what winter storms need. You can't make snow without cold air. It doesn't matter how much moisture you have. If it's too warm, it's just rain. But we're not going to have a warmth problem in early January. We're going to have an abundance of cold. The challenge for meteorologists will be tracking exactly where each storm system goes, because small differences in storm track mean huge differences in who gets snow versus who gets ice versus who gets rain. A storm that tracks 50 miles further north or south can completely change the forecast for millions of people. That's why you need to stay informed. Check forecasts daily, multiple times a day if winter weather is imminent. Conditions can change rapidly. Now, as we approach the 23-minute mark, I want to bring this all together and give you the big picture. We're entering a sustained pattern of cold and active winter weather. This isn't just one event. It's a series of events stretching from now through at least mid-January. The first test is this Friday into Saturday winter storm. Major impacts for the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. Ice, snow, dangerous travel, power outages. Then comes the sustained cold. Arctic air locked in place for days, potentially weeks. Below normal temperatures for most of the eastern two-thirds of the country. Then comes the potential for multiple winter storms in early January as Pacific energy finally breaks loose into the cold pattern. This is the kind of winter pattern that people remember, the kind that gets talked about for years. Not because of any one storm, but because of the relentless nature of it. Cold day after cold day, storm after storm. No breaks, no warm-ups, just winter doing what winter does. But here's the thing, we can handle this. Americans have dealt with winter for centuries. Our grandparents dealt with winters far worse than this without modern forecasting or heating systems. We have every advantage. We have warning. We have preparation time. We have resources. All we need is the wisdom to use them. Psalm chapter 34 verse 18 says, "The Lord is near the brokenhearted. He saves those crushed in spirit." I mention this because Christmas can be hard for some people. Maybe you lost someone this year. Maybe this is your first Christmas without a loved one. Maybe you're struggling financially or emotionally. Winter storms and cold weather can make those feelings even heavier. If that's you, please know you're not alone. Reach out to someone. Talk to a friend, a family member, a counselor, a pastor, and spend some quiet time with God. He's there. He's listening. He cares.
For those of us who are doing well, remember that others are struggling. Be kind, be patient, be generous. You never know how God might use you to change someone's life. A simple act of kindness, a warm meal shared, a driveway shoveled for an elderly neighbor. These things matter more than we realize. Let me give you the timeline one more time. Today, Christmas Eve. Beautiful weather in the southeast. Active storms in the west. Light snow possible in the northeast tonight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, Christmas Day. Festive flurries and snow across New England. Continued chaos in the west. Warm in the southeast. Friday, December 26th. The big winter storm hits. Ice in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Heavy snow from Pennsylvania through New York into southern New England. Dangerous travel. Power outages likely. Saturday, December 27th. Storm moves offshore. Lake effect snow begins. Sunday through Tuesday, Arctic air arrives. Temperatures crash. Sustained cold begins. First week of January, potential winter storm signals develop as Pacific energy moves east. And beyond that, we'll continue to monitor and update as we get more information. Before I finish, I want to tell you what's coming in my next video. I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of those early January storm signals, the exact timing, the areas to watch, the confidence levels. If winter weather affects your area, you're going to want to see that analysis. It could help you plan your early January schedule. The winter is far from over. In fact, the most active part might be just beginning. Stay safe, stay prepared, help your neighbors, and keep your faith strong. May God bless you and keep you through this holiday season and beyond. And may we all emerge from this winter stronger and more united than before.